Let us go on this adventure together. We're going to do another critter bowl, but this time I'm going to make it a dragon face, which I'm going to admit I've not done before. So this is going to be an adventure. I have the vaguest idea of what I'm doing, kind of a notion of how I'm going to reach this destination, but we're going to get there together and it's going to be an adventure. But the idea is that at the end, instead of this looking like the kitty cat that the other ones look like, this is going to look like a dragon face when we're done. But before I've already, so you don't have to watch me go through um, the whole process of getting all the air out and whatnot. I've already, I always want to say kneaded it, but like dough, I've already kneaded this. But now I'm going to go ahead and pop my thumbs in to get it opened up some. And really, I'm just going to pull this open nice and easily and evenly. Evenly. And then the big thing is going to be making, really the biggest thing I can think is the bottom of the face, the snout is going to be different for a dragon. And some teeth, of course. You need teeth. But I think the eyes are going to be largely the same. Largely, not exactly. But I don't really know. We're experimenting here. I've got some leftovers over here, but this is the last of the 125-pound bag that I've been working through a number of pieces. I made another critter bowl that is a video, and then another simple bowl that was a video, a mini monster that's a video that I love. He's sitting right over on a shelf drying. Actually, they all are. I'm looking over at them right now as I'm saying all these things. And then a simple cup that's a video that I don't think I've posted yet. I don't think that one's up. It might be by the time this one goes up. I might do these on the same day. And then another simple bowl. So all of that came from the same 25-pound bag. And then this also. So that kind of is a nice, I think, example of what you get from one bag of clay. It was a good example even for me. I mean, I've done this a bit, but to really sit and go, okay, I'm going through one bag and what does that look like was kind of a good exercise. It's good to get back to the basics. I like the basics actually. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of stay in the basics a little bit. All right. I like the way this one's shaping up a lot, actually. I'm going to keep pushing it out nice and evenly, making sure that the bottom is getting a nice even compression, uh, about a half-inch thick, keeping it about there, making sure I'm pushing out on the edges, just always real evenly. And keeping that feeling the whole time, and you kind of see how I'm just traveling around it. And I actually have my cheating device right over here, and my cheating device would be a Lazy Susan, which is quite lovely for doing this. But I don't mind this either. And I really like the shape this guy's taking on. I'm kind of pushing in on the bottom here, and then out on the top. Well, in the out on the middle, and then in on the top with this finger, and it's giving it just a really nice shape on the bowl that I'll show you You can probably tell, but I'll show you when we get in here. And then I'm just keeping that. And as usual, I need to keep the speed on because I have to remember there's like other stuff to do. I could just like talk and enjoy messing with the clay all day because it's just a nice experience. I'll just keep talking to you and playing with the clay and forget that there's like, like a project that has to get finished. Yeah, work that has to happen. Drat the work. Okay. Man, I almost hate to attach stuff to that because it's just a pretty bowl at this point. It's just a pretty bowl. Really need it to be taller for the dragon face. Not necessarily. It's kind of dragon scale-ish more than I'd even meant for it to be. Oh, sweet serendipity. Kind of looks like the bottom part of a dragon egg. Ah, my fingernail again. I gotta do something about those. I said that yesterday multiple times. I'm just pulling up more, thinning out the bottom a little bit. It's still a little thick. It gives me a little bit that I can pull up into the walls, give them a little bit more height. And I'm keeping them stable. I mean, really, this is still quite thick, but as many of you have probably heard, I like thick bowls. All right, give that a nice compress. Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. I need a paddle. Actually, do I have one? Sure, I have something I could use. Always just the finger. It works as well as pretty much any tool. Hang on. Pardon me. I unfortunately did not make the cup. It's a little too heavy, honestly. I only use it whenever I know I'm coming up to the shop and I'm going to be up here, or the studio, and I'm going to be up here for a long time and I don't want to go back for tea. But it's heavy. I mean, you could take somebody out with a sucker, which is of course how I like things. So no complaints. But I did not make that one. We were actually given that. Back in the day, we used to do this as a short-term rental, and some of the folks that rented this apartment at one point as a short-term rental got those and gave them to us, which is nice. And I still use them. We met a lot of nice people that way. It was a lot of fun. All right, get a nice smooth on. Nice smooth inside. I want it kind of lumpy on the outside because, well, maybe I could always come back in and give it the texture, but old dragon scale. So I don't want to get rid of too much of the texture that's here already on the outside, but I'd like to give this a nice smooth finish on the inside. Or at least a little bit more smooth than it is. It had some ridges. Perhaps a bit much. My goodness. I don't know what's going on with that little cough. Not happy with that one. And I had had no intention of forcing anyone to deal with it, but I didn't think I would have one. All right, there we go. We'll work with that for now. Now, uh-oh, now it begins, folks. I actually have to attach the dragon. All right, so I'm thinking the eyes are going to go in the back the way the ears on the cat did. So I'm thinking the eyes will go like back here, and then the snout will go up here. Whereas it was ears, eyes, nose on the other critters. But I don't think that's right for the dragon. I think the eyes have to go back here on the dragon. I think. And like maybe dragon eyes and like a spike here. So like eyes, spike. Nose. Thinking like the nose with the mouth and teeth. That the mouth teeth thing is getting me a little bit. Maybe I should start with that. Oh, you're still quite malleable. I feel like this is the front of this bowl right here. It's already got a lump on it, and I'm just going to use it for the, since it's already got it. I mean, come on. Going to use it to build the snout off of. And I feel like there'd be a little bit on the bottom. Let's think about this. Could draw it, but what fun would that be? Sensible, yes. Fun. All right. This has to be light enough to use, right? Right. But not something that would snap on the first movement. So something little is probably more what we're going for, like 2 little balls for the nose versus like, because I was going for it. I'm thinking like giant nose sticking off the front, the giant nose sticking off the front. I'm gonna break that the first time I put that in a dishwasher, and I'm gonna put it in the dishwasher because it's not gonna get washed if it's not gonna go in the dishwasher. Because that's who I am. So I feel like if it's gonna live with me anyway, they're gonna have to be like big ball noses or something. Once that's attached, that might work. The mouth. Hmm. Is there any way that this makes it through a dishwasher? Oh, it's not like just the teeth against like just this against the front. Dishwasher safe dragon. I'm not coming up with the dishwasher safe dragon, guys. These are the things I angst over. Now, a dragon, yes. Dishwasher safe, not so much. Okay, well, we're just gonna go create. Oh, wait. All right. Change of plans. Working on being a little dragon. Wider and what if? What if he sat on it? His tail's too short. All right. I don't like the dragon face so much. I'll experiment. But I think it's fragile. The nose is going to just snap right off. Not to say that this isn't. I feel like it's less likely to. Like the thing sticking out the front is just asking to slam onto something. Not that the ears sticking off the top aren't. I mean, I guess 6 1 up does him another. But I feel like maybe they're a little less. Maybe not. Maybe not. Mm, I'm just making that up. All right, dude. You are kind of a chubby, perhaps looking more like a prehistoric animal than a dragon, but that's all right. Can't even tell which side your feet are supposed to be on anymore, dude. Like that? I think it was like that. Okay, yeah, I think it was like that. It's your gut, not your back. All right, that. Yep. Now you ask, what the hell is she doing? I'm gonna do the whole body. Wings. Wings. This is a bad idea. Oh my god. So likelihood this is gonna work out right. Vaguely wing shaped. Not even remotely vaguely dragon face shaped. Kind of sock puppet ish. If it was a sick sock puppet. Sock puppet on Quaaludes. No. Okay. It's like evil Nessie. Right. That looks a little more like a velociraptor. Actually, that looks just like a velociraptor. That doesn't sound like a velociraptor at all, but you get me. Velociraptor with wings. Looks a little more like a little fairy princess than a dragon. It's okay. Nothing wrong with that, my dude. Actually, kind of okay with that. I'm strangely totes okay with that. Yeah. Fairy dragon. I'm down with that. Quaalude fairy dragon. No, you're not a Quaalude dragon. But I am. No. How do we attach Quaalude dragon? Let's see. Yes. All right. Scoring, and vinegar. And I popped on my Facebook, my Serendipity Sellers Facebook, the science behind that, by the way. Ooh, super cool. I actually looked it up. So Cool stuff. Don't ask me to remember right now. Let's look it up, man. Look it up, man. Nah, it's super cool. And I'm happy to share knowledge if I could remember all of the exactitudes right now. I'm a little more worried about this raptor's tail coming disconnected. Come on, man. What's going on? No, no, no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why are we doing this? Why are we behaving like this? We have no reason to act this way. We've done everything by the board. Thank you. Okay, buddy. Okay, there he is. He's stuck quite nicely. Yeah, he's good. Didn't plan that out well though. What's gonna hold this down? You just hang there for a second. Can we just put you right? There we go. Thank you. Just stay right there. Thank you. Yeah. I said nothing. Let's see. I'm gonna pop that on like right. Once this is down, we'll be good to go. And I'll get the rest of this. Okay. Score, 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 score. This already has some vinegar water with clay in it. And I'm way too rough on this stuff. But if you can't stand up to me, you can't stand up to life. I look at it that way. Yep. If you can stand up to me, you're ready. From a clay perspective. From a clay perspective. Because I am tough on pottery. All right, my little buddy. Are we good? You looking good? You can just keep your little headsy right there. We'll be good. And now, the wing. All right, I'm going to grab a bowl real quick. Planning a little ahead is probably not a terrible idea for this. I'm like, this isn't going to break in a heartbeat with that neck sticking up there. Drying this is going to be, in fact, actually, let me, because that's just not a good idea. That's not nice to you, to me. That's just going to break. That's not cool. It looks neat, but it's not cool. No, yeah, nobody wants that. Just like the way I was going to have the wings like flying. It's not nice. They're just going to break. It's asking for that to be like an heirloom piece that you can never use and that just sits in your cabinet. And I don't know. Life is meant to be lived. Why do you have pottery around if it's not meant to be like used and have cereal out of it and drink coffee out of it and tea and whatnot and share with people who come over to your house? So, yeah, you got to make it to be able to stand up to life. Maybe not life proof, but stand up to a little bit of life at least. Maybe you can't hand every piece to the 6-year-old grandkid and let him run around the house with it, but you should at least be able to let him hold it. Yeah, no, man, just can't be that fragile. And frankly, if it's that fragile, I can't hold it either. Yeah, I can't be trusted with it. So there we go. All right. It's still, there's still definitely some pieces on it that make this more than fragile than your traditional bowl, but that at least is going to make it a little bit more forgiving for use. And I like that. I appreciate that. Now let's see if there's something we can do to make this a little more forgiving with the wings, or do I have to leave them off? Because that would be really sad. He's chubby. I like it. I like chubby animals. Chubby animals are happy animals. Not obese, just chubby. Pleasantly plump. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, can we do like a... Wait a second. What if we do a roll? That's it. There we... Look at that. Look at that. If we do a roll, he's got wings, but he's got stable wings that won't just snap off at the first time you try to do something with this. Nice. There we go. And I'll try to do those like I don't know, like Rutile Blue something, but that'll work. It's nice. That means he still gets to have those. I like it. Makes me happy. All right. And it also means they get to be attached in 2 places instead of 1, which is another benefit. All right, so 1 set goes here. Firm but gentle. Ooh, that's really hard with this because he is folded. Ooh, boy, that's tough. It's hard. There we go. There we go. Bottom is hard to press in. I know you love my sound effects. Not. And the top of my head. Okay, there he goes. He's got a nice little curled wing, and we'll do curled wing number 2 on the inside. All right, so it's not a face, but he's kind of cool. I'm not disappointed. All right, I'm gonna pinch and push. Firm but gentle. Still pretty good. I'm not, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna say I'm not as thrilled with these wings, but no, they're still pretty good. I like it. I like it. Still obvious what they are, and they also meant I didn't need to put feet in, which would have been a little bit, I think, more complicated and less aesthetically pleasing, frankly, than the wings. God, me saying frankly again. Frankly, I frankly say frankly often. It's okay. It's cool. All right. Now it's just about getting some detail on the little dude's face. And any scale texture that I want to do on the body, and I've got plenty of clay left over for any of that. And that's what I've got left from the 25 pounds that I started with. and I will take some pictures and pop them probably on Facebook, just from the kind of and I know Facebook is that lame now? I don't know. I don't know what is and what isn't. I have very limited social media at this point, but I'll pop that on just so that you can kind of see what 25 pounds does make total. Because I do think that's just nice visual to have. And that is what you, from any perspective, if you're living someplace completely different than I am and you're thinking about taking a class, pretty standard what you get from a class is pretty standard is 25 pounds of clay. Um, Usually cone 6, I think, is usually what you start with. It is what we use, and I think that's usually, any class I've taken that has been, but I don't know if that's worldwide. I'm in the United States East Coast, so limited experience, certainly as far as all that goes. Very limited experience as far as all that goes that I can speak to. But anyway, point being, I don't even remember what my point was. Point being, I need to get these giant eyeballs on. No, the point was that 25 pounds, in my experience, which is culturally limited, and the fact that I'm using pounds tells you that immediately, that is about what you get when you take a class. So that was my point. That was the point that I was making in a very long-winded way. And I did it while I was trying to attach something, and so I got very distracted and weird. And it will happen again. I'll show you this little dude. I'm keeping him, my favorite word, simple. I do like simple though. I just like to keep it simple. I like simple. Ah, not that simple. All right, dude, stay. Do we want anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Does he need a horn? Does he need a horn? He needs some. He does. He needs a horn. You're allowed to say he needs a horn. Okay. We'll give him a horn. It's one more thing that can break off. Just know that. But we'll give him a horn. And he reminds me of, oh gosh, what were the books when I was a little kid? They were to learn your ABCs. Oh God, I can't remember. But there was a little worm in them. And he was coming out of an apple. Anyway, that's really kind of all I remember. There was a little worm coming out of an apple for A. And this little dude, I'll give you a close up of him here in a moment. And he reminds me of the little worm, like vivid flashback of this really detailed. And was it a worm? Yeah, it was a worm coming out of an apple with these big eyes. Had a moment where I thought it was a caterpillar, but I think there's a caterpillar later in the book. Anyway, He's got a cute little face. I don't know if you want dragons to look like worms, but I mean, worm, the fighter worm. He looks like he's got a candy corn on his head. You asked for this. Or a party hat. He's adorable. It's perfect. You were right. 100% right. I'll never question you again. All right. Let's see. I think we're good. I think I'm going to let this get leather hard so that I can do a little more on it without doing any damage, which is what I'm worried about doing now. Oh my God, the candy corn on the head is killing me. Killing me. Brilliant move. But I do want you to come down here and see this adorable little creature. And this is what's left at this point. So this is all that's left from the 25-pound bag that I started. Oh, well, there's a little bit. Oh, please tell me. No, it didn't get in. It missed it. I shouldn't really have my drink this close to any of this. Whoops. Yet another safety faux pas. Do as I say, not as I do. But there is a little bit left in here. So I have a little bit more in here. So that's what's left now. I could still make, time allowing and all of that stuff. Something small. So there could still be something small and get it into a firing and whatnot. But you do have to make sure the other thing is making sure that there's enough time for things to dry. Because everything does need ample time to dry out without cracking. So it needs slow dry. So that is the big thing. All right, let me give you a look at this adorable little dragon, and then I'll let you go. Because you've really only got the butt end of this guy right now. And he's got a face with a, look at that. Look at that. What is that? You did that. What is that? What is that? It's a candy corn. It's a candy corn on his head. Got a candy corn. And look at those little eyes. Eyeballs. I can't wait to glaze those. That'll be a fun time. Yeah, he's got his little folded wings. Those are super easy as long as they all stay good. And then he's got his little candy corn / party hat / horn. And you could certainly, I could definitely work the heck out of this. Do a whole, with all of that clay that's left, there could certainly be a whole line of horns down his back, and I could do double horns on his head, and I could make him look like a big dragon with a big head and big, the big double eyes, and get super detailed on him. So, by no means do I think this is what a dragon's looks like, and this is where, this is where you stop in making a dragon. You could go so much more detailed than this and start getting in and, doing each little detailed scale. You could just go as wild as you possibly want to with this, with detail and with scale and with all of that. Again, I really dig simple. I like it. I enjoy it. I would kind of like to get a little bit more into the dragon's face, and I might do another one where I do get a little bit more into a more dragony face that has all the big humps in it, and has kind of the more impressive reptilian architecture going on. But I don't know. Sometimes for something that you're just going to use every day, I just like stuff to be lived with that's just cute and simple and fun, and that doesn't intimidate me when I get it out of the cabinet, and that might actually live through the dishwasher. That's another big thing that I want, and I worry about this little dude. It probably will. This little guy, it's stuck on really well, so I think it'll probably make it through the dishwasher. But that's another thing that I always worry about when I make my stuff. Is it gonna survive? Because I'm not gonna hand wash it. I'm not. I mean, I have to say hand wash only, because you can't ever guarantee something that's been glazed, unless it goes through some very specific thing that us hand folks who do this home stuff just can't. We just can't guarantee those kind of conditions. We just can't. We can't. So I have to say hand wash only whenever I sell something. I don't hand wash my stuff, dude. I don't hand wash it. I hand wash nothing. It all goes in the dishwasher. I would never hand wash anything. I'm so lazy. So anyway, we'll end on that. So one day I'll report on even if this survives the dishwasher, and that will all predicate it surviving glazing and firing and all that good stuff. But I like the little dragon. He's a cute little guy. Oh, cornhead.